Hello there, I'm Peyton. Today we're going to show you around a Kentucky orchard. And while the bluegrass state is not known for growing apples like Washington or Michigan or peaches like Georgia, more farmers are planting trees to provide us local fresh fruit. Here in Hodgenville, Kentucky, Hintons Orchard and Farm Market has over 1,200 apple and peach trees. Now we're going to introduce you to Mr. Jeremy Hinton, owner of Hintons Orchard. Hi, Jeremy.
How are you today, Peyton?
Good, you?
Good.
So, what do you do around your orchard?
Well, Hintons Orchard and Farm Market is a family-owned business owned by my wife and I. We have 2 children. Jacob is 7, Jocelyn is 3. They help out a whole lot around the farm. My parents are involved as well as Joanna's family. So it's very much a family-run operation. Our main crops here on Hintons Orchard are apples and peaches. We do have a few pear trees that we've just planted, so it'll be a few years before we can pick any pears. We also grow strawberries and pumpkins and a wide range of vegetables all the way from asparagus to zucchini. Most everything that we grow, we sell here in our farm market, and that and a few farmers markets around local communities. But most everything that we sell is right here direct to the consumer. We also have a lot of fun on the farm, Peyton. We have our customers come out. We have several festivals through the years that at different times of the year around our major crops like our strawberry and our peaches and our apples and our pumpkins. We do hay rides out to the pumpkin patch and through the apple orchard. We have a play area for the kids. We have a 3-acre corn maze for the kids, and we also do a lot of school tours. Several thousand kids come out for field trips each year, and we like to teach them a little bit about where their food comes from and how we grow the things that we grow. And one of the things we always do with those school tours is we take them out into the apple orchard, show them our 1,200 fruit trees, and talk a little bit about how we grow those trees. Hey, would you like to go out and take a look at some of our trees?
I would love to go see some of your trees.
All right, well, let's go.
All right. Mr. Hinton, I have a feeling that getting an apple is not as easy as putting a seed in the ground and you'll have a fruit in a few months. How do you grow apples?
That's a great question, Peyton. Like most plants, we can start an apple tree from a seed, but we're going to actually start with a tree that's already started. And so we depend on a nursery. That's a farm that specializes in growing little trees for us. We're going to buy our trees from the nursery, and they're going to be probably about as tall as you or I when we get them here. And we're going to plant those trees. And then it's going to take about 3 years before we can actually pick any fruit off those trees. But then every year in the fall, we get to go back to those same trees and pick more and more apples off. And as they get bigger and they get older, we'll be able to pick more and more apples off those trees.
So how do you know when an apple's ready to pick?
Another good question, Peyton. We've got about 20 different kinds of apples here on this farm, and they're ready to pick at different times. So the first thing that we do is watch the calendar, and we know about when those apples will be ready to pick. Then we can look at the way that they're colored. When a red apple turns dark red all over, then we know that that apple's ready to pick. We've got these Granny Smith apples here, and when they start to get a little red on there, we know that they're starting to get just about ready to pick. These are not quite ready though. And then we've got this nice yellow apple here that I picked off of another tree a little earlier, and I think it's ready to pick. But the final test is the taste test. And so if we think an apple's ready to pick, we're gonna pick it off the tree and take a bite. Now that we know the apples are ready to pick, we'll go to the field and we'll start picking them. Then we take them inside, we'll put them in our cooler, and then we'll get them out and run them across our grading machine. So why don't we go up to the barn and we'll talk a little bit more about what happens with the apples after they come off the tree.
That would be great.
All right, let's go. Let's take a look at our machine that we use to wash the apples and sort them out by size. After we pick them off the trees, we're going to bring them inside in some boxes, and we're going to put them into our refrigerator. We keep the apples at about 40 degrees in there. Helps keep them fresh and crisp longer until we're ready to put them in a bag to sell. Then we're going to bring them out of the cooler. We're going to put them on this machine. First part of the machine is going to wash the apples in through here. It's kind of like running the apples through a car wash. Spray some water on them, just plain water, no chemicals or anything, just plain water. Some brushes in there that are going to scrub them up and get them nice and clean. Then you're going to go out the other side. There's some sponges there that help soak up the water and dry them off a little bit. Then the last part of the machine sorts the apples out by size. So we've got some medium-sized ones, we've got some larger ones, and then we got the really big ones that are going to make it all the way down to the end. So we're going to push the apples through, and the water's going to spray on there. And then these brushes underneath are going to scrub the apples as they roll around. Make sure we get all the dirt off. After the apples get scrubbed and cleaned, they're going to come over on this side. These rollers are sponges, and so they're going to soak up some of the water as the apples roll along. Then this part of the machine is going to actually sort the apples out by size, so that we get the smaller ones out here, then the larger ones roll on down that way. So we can separate them out by size. Some of the apples that we grow go to schools, and so we want the smaller apples, especially for elementary school age. And then the larger apples, mostly we're going to sell in our store. After we get all the apples sorted out by size, then what Emily's doing, she's looking at every apple to make sure that it's just perfect. If it has any bruises or marks or anything like that on it, we're going to put that in a separate place and sell it for a little lower price. We only want the perfect apples to go in the bag to go out into our store. So Peyton, after we get the apples washed and sorted out by size, we put them in these bags. Then we put those bags in our market so that our customers can come in and buy apples to take back to their homes.
Mr. Hinton, I was just wondering about your peg and bushel thing here. What do those mean?
Well, a bushel is a volume, and that's the way that lots of fruits and vegetables are sold, is by their volume. And different crops will weigh different amounts. For apples, a bushel weighs about 48 pounds. So this is a half bushel, the largest size that we sell. It's going to weigh about 24 pounds. This is a peck, which is a fourth of a bushel, or half this. So that's going to weigh about 12 pounds. And then the half peck is going to weigh about 6 pounds.
Thank you, Mr. Hinton, for showing us around your orchard today. It's been a real apple of my eye-opening experience. No, but really. Thank you for teaching us about America's most popular fruit.
Thanks for coming, Peyton.
Anytime.